Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Mark Buzz,
I'm Anna Bugs.
and it seems like our names are pre-fitting for today's topic. We are going to be diving headfirst into the world of black widow spiders here in California. I don't know about you, but I always get a little shiver down my spine when I hear that name.
They definitely have a certain reputation, don't they? But fear not, because today we are separating fact from fiction. And we're using this really cool article from Simple Pest Management called Are There Black Widows in California? As our guide.
Now, if you like what you hear today, be sure to like and follow the show. And if you're in California and you need some expert pest control advice, give Simple Pest Management a follow on social media. They've got tons of great tips.
Okay, let's address the spider in the room, shall we? Are black widows actually common in California?
Well, this article gives us a resounding yes. Apparently, they're pretty much everywhere. I mean, from the busy streets of L.A. to the sunny beaches of San Diego and even up north in the Bay Area.
That's right. And the most common species you'll find here is the western black widow. You know, the one with the classic glossy black body and that striking red hourglass on the abdomen?
It's funny how that hourglass shape has become such a universal symbol of danger. Speaking of danger, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. How dangerous are black widows, really? I mean, we've all heard the horror stories.
Well, those stories definitely make for some good campfire tales, but the reality is a bit more nuanced. While a black widow bite is definitely painful and it's something you want to avoid, it's not usually fatal. The article clarifies that unlike bites from some other spiders, like the brown recluse, black widow venom, although it's potent, doesn't usually lead to serious complications for healthy adults.
Okay, well, that's somewhat reassuring, but what exactly does that venom do? The article mentions something about neurotoxins.
Right, their venom contains neurotoxins, which are basically chemicals that mess with your nervous system. Think of it like this. Your nerves are like electrical wires sending signals throughout your body, and neurotoxins disrupt those signals and cause a whole cascade of symptoms.
So what kind of symptoms are we talking about? What happens if you actually get bitten by a black widow?
Well, the first thing you'll notice is a sharp stinging pain at the bite site, and that's followed by redness and swelling, and then things can progress to muscle cramps, nausea, sweating, and even dizziness.
Well, that sounds pretty awful.
Yeah.
I'm definitely adding avoid black widow bites to my to-do list.
I think that's a wise addition to anyone's to-do list. It's important to remember that children, the elderly, and people with allergies can have much more severe reactions, so in those cases, immediate medical attention is crucial.
So we've established that black widows are out there and their bites are something we want to avoid. Now, how can we prevent these eight-legged house guests from setting up shop in the first place? The article had some great advice on that, right?
Absolutely. It all starts with understanding where they like to hang out. Black widows are masters of hide and seek. They prefer dark, undisturbed places like garages, woodpiles, basements. They're not exactly the social butterflies of the spider world.
So keeping things tidy and organized could be our first line of defense.
Exactly. Decluttering, especially in those dark, forgotten corners, is key. It eliminates those cozy hiding spots that black widows find so appealing. And while you're at it, you can seal up any cracks or crevices you find in walls, doors, and windows. You're basically closing the welcome sign to spiders.
Okay, and what about outdoors? Are there any precautions we can take to make our yards less inviting to black widows?
Definitely. Remember, they love to build their webs near firewood piles, so storing firewood away from your house is a good idea. And those cozy outdoor furniture cushions? Give them a good shake before you settle in. You never know who might be lurking beneath.
Good advice. I'm definitely going to be checking my cushions a little more carefully from now on. The article also mentioned a few telltale signs that might indicate you already have some unwanted guests. Can you tell us about those?
Sure, one of the first signs you might notice is an increase in other insects around your home. Black widows are nocturnal, meaning they're most active at night. So spotting spiders crawling around after sunset, especially in garages or storage areas, could be a sign. And of course, any unexplained bites, particularly if they're accompanied by that distinctive pain and muscle cramping, should be taken seriously.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've confirmed that black widows are indeed common in California. Their bites are painful, but not usually fatal. And we've learned some key prevention strategies to keep them out of our homes.
But we've only just scratched the surface. Join us in part 2 as we delve deeper into the world of professional pest control, explore the science behind those potent neurotoxins, and uncover the secrets of black widow reproduction.
It's going to get even more interesting, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before we venture further into the intriguing world of black widows, we were talking about how to prevent them from turning your home into their own personal lair. We talked about sealing cracks, decluttering, and keeping firewood at a safe distance. But let's shift our focus to professional pest control services, particularly those offered by companies like Simple Pest Management.
It's fascinating how Simple Pest Management emphasizes something called integrated pest management, or IPM for short.
Mm.
It sounds like a much more holistic approach than just spraying chemicals everywhere.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. IPM is all about understanding the pest's life cycle behavior and habitat. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a carefully crafted strategy that combines various methods for effective and sustainable pest control.
So it's like a multi-pronged attack on those pesky black widows, but with a focus on minimizing environmental impact.
Exactly. When it comes to black widows, IPM often involves a combination of inspection, exclusion, sanitation, and targeted treatments. Think of it as a detective carefully gathering clues to solve a case.
I like that analogy. So let's break it down. What does inspection entail in this context?
Well, inspection is the crucial first step. It's about identifying the extent of the infestation and pinpointing those vulnerable areas we talked about earlier. A trained professional will thoroughly examine your property, searching for signs of black widows, their webs, and any potential entry points.
And I assume exclusion refers to those preventative measures like sealing cracks and decluttering.
Precisely. By making your home less accessible, you're essentially shutting the door on black widows, denying them entry to their preferred hiding spots. It's like fortifying your castle against invaders.
Makes sense. And what about sanitation? What role does cleanliness play in keeping black widows at bay?
Sanitation focuses on eliminating food sources. Remember, black widows are insectivores, so reducing the overall insect population around your home indirectly starves them out. It's all about cutting off the supply chain.
So it's like creating a culinary desert for these eight-legged predators.
That's a great way to put it. And finally, we have targeted treatments. These are only employed when absolutely necessary and involve using insecticides specifically formulated for black widow control.
So it's not about indiscriminate spraying, but a more precise approach targeting the problem areas directly.
Exactly. And that's where the expertise of a company like Simple Pest Management comes in. They have the knowledge and experience to assess your specific situation and develop a customized IPM plan that addresses your unique needs.
So if anyone's feeling overwhelmed by the prospect of tackling a black widow problem on their own, reaching out to a reputable pest control company that embraces IPM seems like the way to go.
I couldn't agree more. They can provide expert advice, implement effective solutions, and most importantly, give you peace of mind. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the science behind black widow venom. We've mentioned neurotoxins, but I think it's worth exploring how these potent chemicals affect the human body.
The word neurotoxin always sounds so ominous. It's like something out of a spy thriller.
It does have a certain dramatic flair to it, doesn't it? But in essence, neurotoxins are simply substances that interfere with the nervous system, disrupting that intricate communication network that governs our bodily functions.
So how do black widow neurotoxins work their mischief? What's happening at the cellular level when that venom enters the bloodstream?
Think of it like this. Your nerves are like a complex system of wires transmitting electrical signals throughout your body. These signals tell your muscles to contract your heart, to beat your lungs, to breathe. Black widow venom disrupts these signals, creating chaos in the communication network.
So it's like a hacker infiltrating a computer system and causing all sorts of malfunctions.
That's a great analogy. This disruption can lead to a range of symptoms, from the initial pain and muscle cramps to nausea, sweating, and even difficulty breathing in severe cases.
And you mentioned earlier that certain groups of people are more vulnerable to severe reactions. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Children with their smaller body size and developing immune systems are more susceptible to the effects of the venom. The same goes for the elderly, whose immune systems may be weakened. And anyone with pre-existing health conditions or allergies could experience more severe or even life-threatening reactions.
It sounds like it's always better to err on the side of caution when it comes to black widow bites. Seeking medical attention is crucial, especially for those more vulnerable groups.
I completely agree. It's not worth taking any chances. Prompt medical care can make a world of difference. And speaking of medical care, the article mentions antivenom as a treatment option for severe cases. Have you ever wondered how antivenom works its magic?
I have to admit the concept of antivenom has always fascinated me. It's like a microscopic battle taking place inside the body.
It is quite remarkable, really. Antivenom is essentially a solution containing antibodies that are specifically designed to neutralize the venom of a particular species. In the case of a black widow bite, the antivenom acts like a guided missile, seeking out and binding to the neurotoxins in the venom, effectively disarming them.
So it's like sending in a specialized cleanup crew to mop up that toxic mess.
Precisely. Antivenom is typically reserved for cases where the symptoms are severe or life-threatening. It's administered intravenously, and the dosage and duration of treatment depend on the severity of the envenomation.
It's reassuring to know that even in those rare cases where a black widow bite becomes a medical emergency, there are effective interventions available.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so crucial to seek medical intervention immediately after a suspected bite. Time is of the essence when it comes to antivenom treatment. The sooner it's administered, the more effective it will be in mitigating the venom's harmful effects. But let's not dwell on the negative. Black widows, despite their fearsome reputation, are fascinating creatures with complex behaviors and remarkable adaptations.
You're right. I'm curious about their nocturnal habits. Why are they more active at night? Is there a particular reason for this nighttime prowling?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it all boils down to survival strategies. Black widows are ambush predators, relying on their intricate webs to trap unsuspecting prey. They're masters of patience, waiting for dinner to come to them.
So they're not actively chasing down their meals. They're more like skilled anglers casting their lines and waiting for a bite.
Exactly. And since many of their prey insects are also more active at night, it makes sense for black widows to synchronize their activity patterns with their food source. It's all about maximizing hunting efficiency under the cover of darkness.
But wouldn't being active at night make them more vulnerable to predators themselves? I mean, wouldn't owls or other nocturnal animals be more likely to snatch them up?
That's a valid point, but black widows have evolved some pretty clever defenses to mitigate those risks. Their dark coloration provides excellent camouflage, making them practically invisible against the backdrop of night.
So they're like ninjas of the night, blending seamlessly into the shadows.
Exactly, and remember those webs we talked about? They're not just for catching prey, they also serve as a sophisticated early warning system. Any vibrations created by a potential predator moving through the web alert the black widow to danger, giving it time to react.
It's like having a built-in security system. That's pretty impressive.
It is. And finally, their venom itself acts as a potent deterrent. The pain and potential complications associated with a black widow bite make most predators think twice before attacking. It's nature's way of saying, don't mess with me.
It's fascinating how black widows have evolved this intricate suite of adaptations to thrive in their nocturnal niche. We've only just begun to unravel the mysteries of these fascinating creatures. Join us in part 3 as we delve into the intricacies of black widow reproduction and explore the wonders of spider silk.
Welcome back to the deep dive for the final part of our exploration into the world of black widows. We've covered their habitat, their potent venom, and even their stealthy nocturnal habits. But there's still so much more to discover about these fascinating arachnids. Indeed, black widows have a complex life cycle and some truly remarkable adaptations that really set them apart in the spider world.
Okay, so let's talk about reproduction. I'm curious about the whole mating ritual, the egg sacs, and how those tiny spiderlings make their grand entrance into the world.
Well, the mating process for black widows is often shrouded in mystery and a bit of infamy, thanks to that widow moniker.
Yeah, there's that persistent myth about females devouring their mates after copulation. Is there any truth to that?
Well, while it's not entirely a myth, it's certainly not the norm. Sexual cannibalism can occur in black widows, but it's more of an exception than a rule often observed in laboratory settings or under stressful conditions.
So it's not like every male black widow is walking into a death trap when he goes courting.
Exactly. In the wild, males have developed strategies to minimize that risk of becoming a postcoital snack. They tend to approach females cautiously, often vibrating the web in a specific pattern to signal their intentions and assess her receptiveness.
So it's like a delicate dance, a way of saying, hey, I'm here for romance, not a meal.
Precisely, and if the female is receptive, mating will occur. Afterward, the female will produce one or more egg sacs, each containing hundreds of eggs.
Hundreds of eggs. That's a lot of potential black widows.
It is. The egg sacs are carefully guarded by the female who fiercely protects them from predators and environmental hazards.
Talk about a dedicated mother. So what happens when those eggs hatch?
When the spiderlings emerge, they're tiny, pale versions of their parents, and they'll remain in the sac for a short period, feeding on yolk reserves before dispersing via a process called ballooning.
Ballooning. That sounds almost whimsical for a spider behavior. What exactly does that involve?
It's a fascinating adaptation that allows spiderlings to travel long distances by releasing silk threads that catch the wind. Imagine hundreds of tiny spiders floating on silken parachutes carried by the breeze to new territories.
Wow, that's an incredible image. So these tiny spiders are essentially hitchhiking on the wind, spreading out to colonize new areas and avoid competition with their siblings.
Exactly. It's a brilliant dispersal strategy, allowing them to exploit new resources and expand their range far and wide.
Okay, we've talked a lot about their webs, but I'd love to know more about spider silk itself. It seems like such a simple thing, yet it's incredibly strong and versatile. What makes it so special?
Spider silk is truly an engineering marvel. It's stronger than steel by weight and more elastic than rubber.
It's mind-boggling how something so delicate can possess such incredible strength.
It all comes down to its molecular structure. Spider silk is composed of protein chains arranged in a specific way that creates both strength and flexibility. It's like nature's own high-performance fiber.
So it's like nature's own super material.
Exactly, and different types of spiders produce different types of silk, each tailored for a specific purpose. Black widows, for example, produce several types of silk, including that sticky capture silk used in their webs, and the tougher, more durable silk used for constructing egg sacs and wrapping prey.
It's amazing how they can produce such a variety of silks, each with its own unique properties. It's like they have their own internal silk factory.
It is quite remarkable, and scientists are still unraveling the secrets of spider silk, hoping to mimic its properties for various applications.
So we might someday see spider silk-inspired materials used in everything from bulletproof vests to medical sutures.
The possibilities are truly endless. It's a testament to the ingenuity of nature and the endless potential for biomimicry.
Well, I think we've come full circle in our deep dive into the world of black widows. We've explored their habitat behavior, venom reproduction, and even the wonders of spider silk. It's been an incredible journey.
I agree. It's a reminder that even creatures that might seem scary or off-putting play important roles in the ecosystem and have fascinating stories to tell.
Absolutely. And on that note, I want to thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the world of black widows. We hope you've gained a new appreciation for these often misunderstood creatures. And if you liked what you heard today, be sure to like and follow the show for more fascinating deep dives.
And don't forget to follow Simple Pest Management on social media for more expert tips and advice on keeping those creepy crawlies at bay.
Until next time, stay curious.